Hi guys, you alright? We've got building works across the road and little Mr. Shepherd here needs to know everything that's going on. So he's got half an ear on there and half an ear on here. Now you might wonder why I've got a bucket in my hand. This is a bucket full of treats, and what we're going to be doing today is a game called the Bucket Game. It was developed by a UK trainer called Chirag Patel, and the idea of it is basically that you're training your dog to look at an item and they get rewarded by that. I use a little pink bucket, but you can use anything that just will contain treats. You probably want something that's fairly small, so your dog just can't dive into it, and you'll see why later. So why do we train it? Well, it's the start of care behaviours. So where you can actually go with this in the end is really, really beautiful. It's a start button behaviour. So once you get it right, what it could look like is you put this on the floor, your dog knows to stare at it. That's him saying, yep, I'm ready for stuff, I'm ready to train. If he looks away, that's him saying, hold on a minute, I just need a minute. So then what you can start to do is you can place that on the floor, you can train your dog around maybe lifting his lips to look at his teeth. If he stays remaining at the bucket, staring at the bucket, that's him saying, yeah, I'm totally fine with what you're doing, but if I move my head away, I'm asking you to stop, I just want a minute. And then you start to build up that really cool bond with your dog in that two-way communication of bucket, if I'm staring at the bucket, I'm happy for that to happen. If I move away, you're going to listen to me. And actually it builds up a really cool trust as well. So how do we train it? You start off with, and I've actually never done this with him before, and I wonder how he's going to go with this, because I've trained him eye contact is what pays out. And usually I do that by hands going out to the side, and then he checks in with my eyes and I pay him. So this will be interesting to see how he goes. Now, our criteria for it, so when we use our marker word, is if they have got all four paws on the ground, and I actually don't mind if they're lying down, the dog chooses the position that they are comfortable in looking at the bucket. They're not allowed to be barking, so we want them to be quiet. And they're not allowed to be right next to the bucket either. We want a little bit of distance, say maybe a foot from the bucket. So that's our criteria. If they look at the bucket and they're covered those criteria, so they're quiet, they've got all 4 feet in the ground, and they're not right next to the bucket, they're not nudging the bucket, we're going to mark them and they're going to get a treat. And initially we're going to start quite high up because we don't want them jumping up to it, and we don't want to tempt them to do it. So I'm going to start from here, and it will be this simple. If he looks at the bucket, yes, I'm going to mark him and he can have one. Yes. Yes. You're going to do 5 reps of this. Yes. Yes. And only move on to the next one. Yes. If your dog, as soon as you give them the treat, yes, they're going straight back to looking at that bucket. Good boys. I'm just going to put that bucket away. So what you're looking for when that bucket comes out, they check in with that bucket, you mark it, because he's doing everything else right. And then as soon as you feed them away from the bucket, they check straight back in with that bucket. So you know that they've got an understanding of it's the bucket that pays. Now we've done that at shoulder height, and we've done 5 reps. So then what we're going to do is we're going to lower that to waist height. Now when you get to this height, if you've got a big dog that jumps, you may find that they jump up to the bucket. Jump, jump, jump. So what you can do in that circumstances is just remove the bucket away from them and then try that level again. So then I'm going to go, so we went from shoulder height, I'm now going to go waist height. Yes. Good boy. Making this look easy, pup. Yes. 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 So I've done 4 reps, but you do 5 reps, and then you're going to move it down to knee height. I've just dropped one. And you fell out of the bucket. So then we're going to go to knee height. Yes. And leave your bucket. Yes. Leave your bucket there in between. Yes. And at this stage, I'll let you switch hands as well. Yes. Excellent. So once you've done knee height, you might then go to shin height. Yes. And you can kneel at this point. Yes. 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 Good boy. So another 5 reps of that. So what we've done so far is you've started off here, lowering it for looking at the bucket, lowering it for looking at the bucket, lowering it. So you're down to shin height. Once we've got to that point, the next stage is that we're going to place it on the floor. Now this will probably be a barrier for a lot of dogs, because as soon as it's on the floor and you've not got your hands anywhere near it, it's fair game and they may well dive in. So make sure you're going to be quick enough to remove that if that does happen. Ready? Good boy. Yes. 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 And if he looks at your hands, yes. Good boy. Yes. 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 Good work. And did you see Jack at one point there, because my hand's got to go into the bucket to give him the treat, so he was watching my hands to see when my hands were going to the bucket. So you've just got to hold out at that point, and then when he checks back in with the bucket, you've got to capture that yes, and then hand to the bucket, then feed. So give that a go up to that point. I'm going to give him a break, and then I'll come back and we'll give you the next level for it. So all that was up to now was treats in bucket, holding the bucket out, dog checks in with the bucket, yes, give him the treat, do 5 reps of that, lower, 5 reps of that, lower, 5 reps of that, then shins, then floor, 5 reps. If at any point your dog jumps into the bucket or tries to come close to the bucket, so if say you're starting at waist level and he starts to nudge the bucket or jumps in, then I'm just going to remove that bucket, and then I might start at the level higher again and then start to lower it. Now obviously I've gone shoulder height, then waist height, then knee height, then shin height, then floor. But if your dog needs to have breaks in between that, that's fine as well. So if your dog says his height and as soon as it gets to head height, he's jumping in that bucket, then I might just do it a little bit higher and then slowly lower it and just do a few more reps around that. So give that a go. We'll be back. Yes. Yes.